So Greta Thunberg's releasing a movie. It covers things like autism, hyperfocus, Asperger's syndrome, climate change, all that. It's coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos on this type of content. So if you're new around here and you'd like to learn more about that, remember to hit the subscribe button by clicking that notification bell down below. If you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a like and a follow to see more videos just like this one. And if you're watching over on Instagram TV, make sure to follow this account for more awesome daily autism content. Right guys, before we get started, if you want to get your hands on my very own free Autism Life Hacks PDF book, you can download it at autismhacks.net right now. Link will be in the description and everywhere you can find it. But if you just want to type it in, go to autismhacks.net, get your free copy right now. If you ever wondered what kind of apps I use to help myself in organizing my daily life, I use Timo almost exclusively. I use it for like organizing my daily life tasks, from getting up in the morning to remember to take my face mask out with me so I don't forget it when I'm going out. Definitely check out Timo. They're amazing and their app is fantastic. It's specifically built for people on the autism spectrum and with ADHD. I can't recommend them enough. Please check them out. Thanks Timo, you're awesome. Right, so guys, welcome back to the Aspie world where we think differently daily. What's up, different thinkers? It's good to be back making movies, making videos, all that kind of jazz. Right, I came across this, I wanted to do this video because I came across this this story about Greta Thunberg, and she's releasing a movie called I Am Greta with Hulu. Now, Hulu is a streaming platform, and they do all kinds of cool stuff, kind of like Netflix, but their own version of it called Hulu. Now, this movie, I watched the trailer for it, and I'll leave a link for the trailer in the description below. Is very, very interesting. Now, Greta is a climate activist. Anybody who doesn't know, she's a young girl. I think she's only about 16 or 17. She's a climate activist from Europe. I'm not entirely sure where in Europe she's from, but she does a lot of activism. Actually, I think she is to blame for the rebellion, people, I don't know, something to do with that, okay? But I'm very much into climate change, kind of trying to reverse it and trying to stop, you know, and save the planet. I'm very much into that, being a vegan and all those kind of things. Anyway, the interesting thing though, what I thought about was that I wanted to see this movie and see if it included anything about autism in it. So anybody who doesn't know, Greta Thunberg actually has a diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, which is the same diagnosis I have, which we all know now that Asperger's syndrome is just autism spectrum disorder. There's no difference, it just had a name change in 2013, but still, this young girl has an autism spectrum condition diagnosis. Now, the interesting thing about it is the movie kind of follows her through her trying to move this movement, where it came from, where she's going, talking to the United Nations and stuff. Now, a few things stick out to me in this movie. Is the first thing that sticks out to me is that they talk about her autism spectrum disorder in the movie. They talk about it. They say things like, "Are you suffering with Asperger's syndrome?" But she talks about it and she says that it's not because the interviewer says something like, "Are you suffering with Asperger's syndrome?" She goes, "I don't suffer, but I do have it, yeah." And it kind of shows clips of her like walking in a certain way in her room, and then it kind of goes to another clip of her and she's having some kind of like stimming session, and she's kind of just like thrashing out, which I find quite interesting because it shows like real life, like autism on that side of things. And I feel like we'll get into more about why I think it's really good in a minute. And then there's another part in it where, because she's like, she has to travel around to do all these talks in Europe and stuff like that. So there's a part where she's on a train and she's like melting down, so she's like crying on a train, and it's really interesting to kind of capture that moment. And then another moment is where she's completely burnt out, and her and a friend are talking about the fact that they they don't want her to burn out, because with autism comes autism burnout. And I did a video on autism burnout, and I'll try and leave it in the link down below so you guys can see that video as well. But in terms of Greta, there's this part where she's just on the bed and her head's like sunk into the pillow, and she's like crying and kind of like really getting overwhelmed. And I really resonate with that. I feel like I totally understand where she's coming from. It's not something that, you know, I don't understand. I completely understand it perfectly. Now, the excitement of the movie comes from the fact that she has to go to the United Nations to do a talk, and in the movie she kind of says that she doesn't fly, and she doesn't fly because she wants to reduce her carbon footprint, which is very admirable. And she then takes a boat and she sails across to wherever the United Nations talk is. But it's crazy thinking that she's sailing in like these really harsh conditions, and it's really interesting because it's quite thrilling, because you're watching her going through this sailing boat in the middle of the sea, and it's very dangerous and all this kind of stuff. So it's very interesting to watch, very interesting to see, and there's excitement in it as well. But the thing that I am wanting to make the video about, this is why I'm talking about it in this video, because I think that this movie has huge potential to really help just move the autism limelight a bit, so that it's not looked in a negative way. It looks at people who are quite intense, because she talks about things that she hyper focuses on. She talks about laser focus, and when she's really into something, she laser focuses on it. And I really like that she's talking about those things, because when you see autism in documentaries or movies and stuff like that, they talk about it, but they talk about it as if they genreize and categorize it as something. They don't actually talk about the ins and outs of it and the good things about it. And saying that, you know, she doesn't suffer with Asperger's is a really good way to put it across. And the other thing is that she talks about her own traits and her personality traits within autism in the movie, and talking about like laser focus and stuff, and why she's so hyper focused on her mission, her goal at hand, is really, really interesting, because it gives people an insight which has never really been spoken about in any kind of TV, movie, stuff like that. Now, the reason this is going to be so impactful is because Greta is a celebrity now, because she has done so much to help so many people, right? And because of that, because of the fact that she's trying her best in this like big environment, which is basically, you know, you're up against the political elite systems, you're up against, you know, big companies who want to churn out CO2 and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere and stuff like that. I think that it's a really interesting time to see a movie like this come out, because there's this little tiny girl who's on the spectrum and everybody's eyes are on her, and so she has a really good voice to say. So including autism within the movie I Am Greta is just a fantastic way to put that word out there, and I think it's going to be amazing. I think she's great. I think she does a lot of good stuff. Yes, she rubs people off the wrong way, but hey, who doesn't, right? And we're on the autism spectrum, we're all in this together, really. So I highly recommend checking out this I Am Greta documentary. I'll have to buy it, I think, because we don't have Hulu in this country, in the United Kingdom, which is a bit sucky, but that's what it is. I want to know, what are your thoughts on it? Have you seen this trailer? If you go and watch the trailer, come back and leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of it, because I'd love to have this discussion with you guys, because that would be amazing. Also, just letting you guys know that my membership website, levelupautism.net, is live and active, and there is only a few days left to subscribe to my exclusive world first autism membership website. So with that being said, guys, if this video you think has power to help change somebody's life, then please share it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you are new here, then don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.